Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited. Today is day 19 of the 30-day challenge, and we're doing it a bit different today. I'll just say quickly that I did do another day 19, and maybe I'll save the video to show people at a different time. But I had some problems with some of the equipment, and I thought, oh, I'll just keep going and stuff. And it was like two very simple earrings. It took me 30 minutes. I'm like, no, I don't think so. So we can leave that video for another time. So we have this instead, and happy mistakes. I love it. So let's take a look. Day 19. This is the earring here. I tried to cover everything up. So we are using the flower petal beads finally. And actually, now that I look at, they look amazing in person. But now that I look at them, the clarity of them, they're pink, but they're very clear. I should have used a different one. Now that I think of it, let me quickly grab them and see what we have. Oh, you know what? They may be somewhere else now that I'm thinking. Yeah, I think I put them away. That's never good. I should show you quickly. This is like crazy. Ginkgos and diamond duos and stuff. I have to organize things. So let's go ahead and finish these ones up. And now that I have kind of an idea on how to do these flower petal flowers, I might do some more. Well, I definitely will be doing more to kind of come up with some different designs for the flower because they're so gorgeous. I love them. So this is for breast cancer awareness. And I actually had an appointment yesterday with the oncologist. And so we're still kind of investigating some things. I'm still having heart issues and short of breath. So I was sent for an EKG, and I find it interesting that sometimes they'll say stuff, but they don't explain. And just in passing, she said, "Oh, you had your EKG. It was abnormal, but your first one before your radiation was abnormal too." I'm like, why would you tell me that? Like, please. So we have these lovely, and we'll talk some more about that. We have these lovely pink awareness ribbons, and I think the seller that sells these has all the different colors for the different awareness causes, I guess. And I tried to round one of these, and I can't remember why I wanted it rounded. Like I used my tool and I could hear it cracking. So this is beautiful enamel inside, and that's what happened. It cracked. You know what? Okay, I switched it out. I was like, is this the one that I cracked? I don't know where I put it. I would have saved it for sure because I'm a hoarder. Everything gets saved. Okay, so let's start by putting the flower together. So we need our 6 flower petals, and we're going to use some 11O seed beads. I'm using this color here, champagne, metallic champagne, and oh my gosh, they're my favorite. Like for kind of like jewelry, goldy looking stuff. That's the kind of gold I like. And these here are 8O Toho's rounds, and they are silver lined, milky, peachy pink. Oh, they're probably my favorite of this design, like the silver lined. So we're going to use 6 of those to go with that. And I have some findings here. We'll talk about those when we put them together. In the meantime, I'll just separate this. And yeah, so just grab these guys. I am using green dragon thread number 6. You can use number 5 if you want. You can use the crystal color as well. You can use, because this is the flower, you can also use Nymo thread or whatever beading thread you like to use. I did pull a full wingspan. You definitely don't need that, but I try to do that for the video because it's no fun running out of thread. So let me say, there's a couple of ways you can put your flower together, and I found the way that I like the best is to start with your 8/0s and your 11/0s. So I'm going to go 1/8, or sorry, 1 11/0, 1 8/0, and do that for your 6 8/0s. So just intersperse them with a bead in between. And we're going to create a loop and tie it off, and then we're going to attach our petals. You can attach your petals as you're doing this, but there's a lot of going in and out, and I find the tension's not what I'd like it to be, and I find it a little frustrating. So I thought this would be an easier way to put it together. And do I have too many beads here? There's 2, 4, 4 and 6. Yeah, so bring that down to the end, and then we're gonna tie this into a loop. Okay, so grab your end and make a knot like that. And then I tie 3 knots. 2's probably fine. You know, you start to see the knot if you go any more than 2, but I'll just hide it in one of the beads that I'm not worried about. So then cut off your piece of thread. Just chip that off, and then I'm going to slide it back into this 8/0 bead. So just go through the 8/0. There, you see it. It's gone. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip the 11/0s, and let me enlarge this a little so you can really see what I'm doing. So we're going to skip the 11/0, the gold beads, and go through all the 8/0s. And as you're doing that, you can pull tight so that your 11/0 pops a bit. Get it the way I had it there. So that. Okay, so skip the gold, go through the 8/0. These are pretty easy, they pop up. If they don't pop up, I'll show you a trick to get them to pop up. They're not going to pop up a whole lot, but you can see the difference. These ones are sitting low next to the others. These ones are sitting in the higher position. So go through the 8/0 like that. So the next one I'll show you the trick. If your beads don't pop up, if they're sitting low, it seems like these are all at the top, but often they'll be in the bottom. So when you pull it tight, they just go further in the bottom. But I mean, still, it's your choice if you want them towards the bottom or towards the top. So before I pull it all the way like tight, you can take your needle and stick it in the bead like that, and then pull, and that'll keep it staying at the top, just like that. Get my thread here. Let's go. I can feel that was the knotted one, so we are at the end here, like that. So there is the front of your flower. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our petals. So we're going to go through the first 11-0 like that. Then we're going to pick up a petal, and I'm picking them up. So there's a curved part of this petal. So this part is curved up, but if you flip it, it's curved down. So you can decide if you want it up or down. I tend to like it in the curved up, so it looks like a flower petal like that. So I've got my first one I've picked up there. You're going to pick up an 11-0, bring it all to the bottom like that. Then you're going to go back through your petal from the same side where you've just added this 11-0. You're going to come up through here. And I'm trying to remember if I went to the other side of that. I think I did. I don't know if it matters. I do want this positioned in the 11-0 positioned at the petal, so I am going to go through the other side of that 11-0, but I'm going to go past the 8-0 and past the next 11-0 and get ready to do my petal on that one. So like that, and this is what it's going to look like. So it's going to be flippy floppy, don't worry, as long as you pick them up all in the same position, they will reorient, because once we get all of these on, we're going to go through these seed beads and we're going to attach them all together, and it's going to pop the petals back like that. So don't worry too much. So pick up the next one, pick up an 11-0, and bring them both to the bottom like that. And so you're coming out of this side of this 11-0, you're going to go to the other side of that 11-0. You're going to pass through the next 8-0 and the next 11-0 like that. And don't worry if they slide back down. They move around and get back in the right position. So just keep doing that around, like I said. So when you're doing this, if you were to attach them when you're doing your circle, which is how a lot of beaders do it, I find it's really it's confusing and frustrating. So I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna do it this way. So let's go pick up the next petal and an 11-0 and down. Coming out of this 11-0, I'm going to go through the other side, through the 8-0, and through the next 11-0. Pull it tight, pick up the next petal. And you could probably layer multiple petals in behind as well. So once you get around these, you could add more. So I might do that with this, is to add some darker, some opaque petals behind. There's that one. So we'll go through this 11-0, through the 8-0, through the next 11-0. And just pay attention to your thread. I find it gets caught up in the other petals sometimes. So pick up the next one. Pick up an 11-0. And let's see if we can do this way without bringing it down. So we'll just go ahead to that same 11-0 and then go to the next one. And yeah, so you don't even have to bring it down. It'll go down on its own. Okay, they look really spread apart. Don't worry, they're gonna get all cinched up. That's the bottom side. I should have used a different color mat too so you could see it. Okay, so we're coming out of this side. We're going to go through this side. Now we're going to go to the next one to set that up. And see what I mean? The thread was hooked on that same petal. Okay, so that's what we have so far. What we want to do is we want to work on the back. So we're gonna, that's the back side. I'm just feeling the correct side. So let's grab this 11-0 like that. And that's gonna, that petal's gonna flip like that. And then we'll just go ahead and grab each one of those 11 O's that are behind the petals in the order that they are. So I don't think I got that one the correct way. Let me see. No, it's fine. Okay, so then go to the next one. Let's flip this guy. Pick up the next one. You know, I think I may have put an extra bead in there because it looks like, yeah, there's more than 6 there. Okay, so let's go back. That's simple enough. We've just, it didn't look right. Yeah, so we're in the first one. So pick up an 11-0. And this is the kind of stuff too, you can vary as you go, whatever you like, because definitely picking up the back of the petals, depending on how many beads you put there and what size beads, will affect how the petals sit. And I'll show you an example what I'm talking about. Okay, so you can see it's starting to, you know, grab them together. So this was one that I tested out. So you can see these petals are really forward, but I had to use, like I used crystals, 4mm bicones. So you could use like pearls. And I didn't, I was trying everything. I put a little rosette in there. I wasn't sure. I'm like, no, I don't like the way that looks. And this part looks a bit messy, but I'll be working on these, so don't worry. We'll find some really cool designs for these petals. There's certain beads like that. I've bought a lot of them and they're so beautiful. I know people like them, but there's not enough designs out there on how to do stuff with them. So I love a challenge like that. So I pull those out and go, okay, like, what are we gonna make with this? So yeah, I had my appointment with the oncologist, and like I said, you know, we discussed the issue with my cardiac problems. So I'm waiting to see an internal medicine doctor, and I guess the family doctor and the oncologist can't order a echocardiogram. Has to be done by the internal medicine doctor, which is kind of crazy, but so I'm sure that's what's going to be happening. So one more 11-0 here, and let me make sure this one looks like weird the way it's sitting. Yeah, you know what? I picked up the wrong side of that one. Let me see if I can fix that. Pick it up here and see if I can get that turned around. Okay. Okay, so now you just pull that together. Look at that. I'm wondering if this still doesn't look right. Like there's some missing here. I wonder if I did one in between each. No, I think it's just I need to tighten it a bit. So at this point you can add your crystal. So I did add a 4mm bicone in the middle. What I did was I just like popped it in there and left it, and then when I was finishing it up I noticed that it was turning so that the hole was exposed, and I thought, no, I want the crystal on both sides. So I just took my thread and put it through. So let's get that in there now. So let's just pop that in there like that. And I'm going to go through and around this at least another time and tighten that. And then we'll go through the crystal as well. Like that. So you can see it's closing up on that. And the crystal's moving a bit. I just want to make sure that the hole's going side to side and not up and down. So I would definitely tighten this before I put my thread through the crystal, because if you try to tighten with the crystal, you'll break your thread. The crystals are sharp inside. So I'm just going to go past this next one. See how there's a bit of a, might go through the 3 there. There, that should do it. And nice tight. Okay, so now my crystal, let me just bring my thread to about here, because I can see that's where the line is, rather than, I've tried to move that crystal once it's in there and it's a little more difficult to do. So let's do there. Okay, so now let's go through the crystal like that to the other side. There. It's hooked on my tray of jump rings. And I wonder if some of these petals are smaller. So I got 6 there. You see how there's a gap there? Okay. So now what I want to do is decide where I want things to hang. So I definitely want them to hang behind a petal. So I'm going to take my needle and put it so it's kind of centered at that petal. And then we're going to add a wire guardian. So I tried to face part of the problem with these flowers is I tried to figure out, how do you hang them, because the holes are at the base. And I'm just looking at this. These holes are really exposed here. It's very strange. Huh. I'm sure it's like some of the other beads that are, you know, there's differences in sizes. The more expensive the bead, I think it should be. It should be like equal size to each, but that's not how it works. Okay, so I'm just looking at where, see how I have my wire guardians. So I did notice one of my wire guardians was larger and the other was smaller. So I put the smaller one at the bottom. So I'll leave that one for the bottom. to go with the ribbon. And then we're going to use that for that, and these guys for here. And we don't need those beads anymore. So let's go ahead. You're going to take your wire guardian and get your needle through. Whoa, that's, see, I think some of these they're bought from different sellers, so some of them are super tiny. Okay, and I'm going to flip that this way so that it's right behind the petal, like that. So now let's go through and go back. I'm going to go through 2 beads. So just pull that through and make sure it sits on the channel of your wire guardian. I've had it where it didn't, and then when I went to put my jump ring, it was all tangled in it. It's like, what happened? Okay, so I'm going to go through a second time. Let's go through here and pull it tight. Then go through here. Actually, I'm going to go past because we're going to go to the bottom and add the other wire guardian for the other part. So let's just make sure it's in the channel. Everything's nice and tight. There. Okay, so now we're going to go to this petal here. So let me see where my thread is. Okay, so I'll go through these beads. That. There. And I'm going to go through the next one only. It doesn't quite sit in between 2 beads, so I just looked at the one that I just added and its position and decided, since that one's in this position, this one will be in here. If I'd have gone further, it would have been off. So grab our wire guardian, that, and you can go down the other side, that, and draw it down, that. So that should work. I don't know. Let's see how this does. I went through 2 beads just to make sure, and there's the thread, so make sure it sits on the channel. There, perfect. So let's see what this looks like. I think it's a bit off. So let's see if we can get back out here. I think we should have been over 1 bead. This is what I mean. They get hooked on the, oh, this one's hooked really good on the petals. There we go. And make sure that's untangled. There. See if I can get that out. Otherwise I'll have to take my thread off. Yeah, it didn't work. Okay, let's take this off. There's no point trying to figure that out. Yeah, so what I was saying about I'm a little annoyed with the oncologist. I'm grateful that she told me that my EKG was abnormal, but I'm like, Why do you tell people stuff and then don't quantify it? Say, oh, it's nothing, most people have these, kind of thing. But of course, she doesn't want to say that because I'm having chest pain, shortness of breath, all kinds of symptoms of cardiac issues. So she does want to downplay it, but I guess she didn't feel it was her place to give me that information. So it's like, whatever. I'm kind of fine. Like I know that if I get some really serious symptoms, I'm just going to the emergency room. Excuse me. Okay, I'm gonna go one bead over, which I should have done in the first place. Oh well, it's all about lining it up where you think. So let's go back through and down through the other side. And bring that down. Make sure it's in the channel. Go through 2 beads on the other side, like that, and pull all through. There, that's better. Let me just bring this down a bit. You know, in my previous videos, I was thinking, why was I constantly adjusting the camera? And it dawned on me, because the tray is so big that I had to move my camera out and then readjust it. So this time I didn't have to do as much. But so there's, now that's it. So I'm gonna go through these couple of beads and I'm gonna tie a knot. I'm a gonna. Yes, I do know how to speak. So this has been so much fun. I really appreciate you guys for, you know, participating and being a part of it. Been a lot of fun. Let's go through a few more like that. And make sure it's not hooked on your petals. And then I'm just gonna, I was like, oh, there's a thread going through. It's my, so yeah, you probably want to use a crystal thread for this. I was thinking because of the gold beads, I'd use green, but I think I probably should have used crystal. Okay, so that's that one, and then I'm gonna go through a couple here and then cut this. So yeah, I have more than 1/2 of a wingspan, so you probably just need half a wingspan. So let's get rid of this needle. So there is the front. Okay, so we said the big one at the top and the little one. So let's attach this one here. Get my tools. These ear wires, I think I got these from AliExpress. They're really pretty. And I'm just using oval jump rings that I got. They're TierCast. So I'm gonna put that on there. Yeah, that's good. And then this one. They're teeny tiny. So I hope you guys are doing well. I mean, we're almost the end of January. Hopefully winter will pass quickly. We're expecting snow tonight, but nothing major. Okay. So remember, this is the front, so you have to, when you attach your flower, to make sure it's going to land in the front. So this way. So there's the front. There's the front. So let's get that on there. Let's take a look, make sure it's on the correct way. Oh, there's the front. Okay, let's flip that. And then this one. Oh, that thread. Okay. Here, let's do the opposite. Start with this one. I find it makes it easier to know which way is the front. Okay, so we want to add it this way. And there it is. So there are these lovely earrings. For day 19. I was like, oh my gosh, I put them on wrong. Oh, no, they're not. Surprise, surprise. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.